Hi guys, and welcome to TechFurb. Today we're going to be doing a subscriber update for the month of April and May. So let's get into it. Alright, so straight into it, no faffing about this time. First up we're going to go with the forum question, the one question that I got from the Hardware Sicko. Now his question is, I have an old Toshiba satellite L3500D laying around the house, has 3GB RAM and a 1.9GHz Core 2. Sure. Do you have an idea for a fun project that I could do with this thing? Well, I did have a bit of a think about it, and given the age of the laptop and kind of given the performance and the specifications, you haven't got a whole lot of things that you can do with that guy, but that's probably where the fun of it comes in. So there's a couple of things I did think of. First one is you could look at setting up a web server. Now, say for example you have a website, you're looking at hosting, or I don't know, you want to host a forum like the TechFurb forums that you've been using. That's PHP BB code that you can download, and you can actually get that running. That'll run on that little laptop if you know what you're doing. Now, the OS of choice that I use for that is Ubuntu LTS 1604. It's actually what the TechFurb website and TechFurb forum run on. Basically, I use the Apache 2 web server engine, I guess. And there's a couple of PHP dependencies that need to be installed, but that is what the TechFurb servers run on. The website itself runs on a very, I think, bottom of the barrel spec Google Cloud instance. But if I was running it in, at home here, it would be running on probably an old Core 2, to be honest. So that's something you can do with a laptop. If you don't want to go down that route, it's probably perhaps a bit technical. I'm not sure where your technical ability is. The other option is you can set up a Plex media server. That would be, that's good use for an old machine like that. Low power and can serve the media to the house. So just a couple of ideas for you. Alright, next up we're going to do some general updates. Now, I wanted to address the dumpster dive video. With the dumpster dive video, I gave you guys a little bit of a hint of what my plans were with that one. And eventually what ended up happening with that is I got a lot of, pretty much everything out of that dumpster dive worked. I think I maybe had a couple of parts failed. So I went through and there was a bunch of 1155 motherboards in there. I don't have a need for 7 1155 motherboards, that's a bit ridiculous. So what I ended up doing is I stripped out all the parts, I tested them all, tested all the motherboards, tested all the RAM I got out of it, CPUs, the whole lot, tested everything. Whatever didn't work was sent off to the e-cyclers, but what did work I kept and sold. So basically out of all the motherboards I only kept 3 of the 1155 motherboards. So one of them, or actually no, two of them I kept and the rest I sold because I already owned one 1155 motherboard, and the 2 that I kept had 4 DIMM slots and were reasonably spec boards. The one of them actually is used on the test bench here. It's this Gigabyte board here. That will be used as a permanent test bench going forward. And other than that, we had an 1150 motherboard that came out of it. So that's a 4th gen, that's Haswell. So hopefully I can get a Haswell processor to drop in it, because the CPU that was on at the moment is just a Pentium dual core, which is perhaps not the most ideal, but hey, it's worth a look. Potentially I could even get a Pentium Anniversary Edition CPU. I think I actually did have one of those, and a pretty good CPU. So that's the motherboards we have. Now, for the CPUs that we got out of it, we have an i7 3770, an i7 2600, an i5 3450, an i3 2100, an i5 3470, and of course the Pentium G 3420, which came out of the 4th gen Haswell board. So good haul of CPUs. Again, I did sell some of them that I didn't need. I don't have a need for every single CPU I get a hold of, and it makes more sense to flip these guys. And it consequently gave me the GTX 1050, which was in the last video. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's probably, in my personal opinion, it's one of the best bit of work I've done. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best video I've actually released in terms of being a good quality video with good content in it. So check that out if you haven't seen it already. Now, moving on from CPUs, we now have RAM. I actually got 6 4GB DDR3 DIMMs out of it. So that'll be fantastic for, you know, test builds and just in general. I don't have a shortage of DDR3 now, which is something I desperately needed. So that worked out perfect. I've also got you know, 2x2GB sticks of DDR3 out of it as well. Again, a little bit extra RAM I had left over that I didn't need, that I sold for whatever I could get for it. And as for the hard drives, I've got a one. Now, I didn't sell any of the hard drives because you don't sell. They should be. You should not be selling second-hand hard drives that are not yours, because it's not your data that was on them. So I've kept a hold of them. I've wiped them, darkest boot and nuked them. That's what you should be doing if you're getting hard drives, because it's just the right thing to do. It's actually possible to recover data off a hard drive. So if you're dealing with a business or data that's not yours, essentially, you should be using darkest boot and nuke on these hard drives, especially if you're selling them to someone you don't know. So for me, I got a single terabyte drive, a single 500GB drive, and a single 80GB drive in it. So that was a pretty sweet deal. And as for GPUs, we've got a GT430 and a GT250, a couple of low-end cards, but they've got HDMI on them. That's why I kept them. So other than that, we had cases. So we had 3 micro ATX cases and 5 ATX cases that came out of it. Most of those were generic, but I did get a couple of nicer sort of gamery cases. And I will hang on to most of them, and you know, if I can flip a couple of cases or, you know, give a couple of cases away, I will. So that's the cases. And for power supplies, we have 3 400 watt just generic power supplies, 500 watt Thermaltake, 500 watt Cougar power supply, that was one of the better ones, and a generic AF 650 watt PSU that feels very light. So don't think I'll be using my good graphics cards for that one. But that is the power supplies, and that is all the parts. So pretty good haul. Didn't really get a whole lot of money out of selling those parts because I didn't really want to gouge people for it, because, you know, I got the stuff for free. So basically I just flipped them for what little money I could get because I didn't need them, and I'm sure other people need them. And I used that money to get the GPU that I got behind me, so it worked out perfectly. The channel is now pretty much brimming for hardware at this point, so expect a lot of CPU reviews incoming, expect a lot of build videos incoming, and I want to do a lot more testing with that GTX 1050 as well. So a lot of content coming up with that. Now, next up is the new set. So I'm sitting in one here. The other new set was in the GTX 1050 video, but I'll give you guys a quick 360 tour of the room. So we're just going to get up and move this camera around. So that's one corner of the room, and let me just loosen this guy. So flicking around, we have the other corner over there. Now up behind that screen there is my streaming PC, and that is a dedicated rig. It actually hooks back up to the test bench, which is just there. So awesome video footage in that regard. This is the other new set we've got here. Sorry, my chair is in the way. Again, that was in the GTX 1050 video. You know, a couple of bits of hardware stacked up there. Made it kind of look nice. It's a little dirty at the moment because I've been moving stuff around. And of course, this is my desk with the normal traditional setup, you know, the Deadpool poster, and just all the other stuff I have up on the wall. And then back around we have, you know, lights and the cupboards. So that is the room and the set. So a bit of behind the scene footage for you there, guys, and I'll just fix up this camera angle. Alright, so that's the sets. Now we have the streaming PC that I mentioned up there before. So I also got a couple of other parts that wasn't from the dumpster dive. I managed to come across some very good deal on parts, so I picked that up. And the streaming PC has an i7-3770 in it, so that's a second i7-3770. I currently have 2, which is just phenomenal. It also has 16 gig of DDR3 RAM in it, so, you know, spec'd up to the brim. It's got the GT430 from the dumpster dive in it, and a 120 gig SSD and a 1TB hard drive. So that thing goes like an absolute rocket. It's got my capture card that I reviewed as well. That's the AV Media 985C, I think it is from memory. Pardon me. And yeah, that thing's just a belter. The streaming quality I've had coming off that is fantastic, so you'll see a lot more footage of gameplay, and just anything that comes up like off the computer will go straight into that capture card. So I can record pretty much any output of a computer, which is fantastic. You know, I can give you guys overclocking tutorials, flipping live streams. Like this camera can hook directly into that capture card as well, so I'll have some live streams coming up. So in general, you know, good things are happening. I can really start to push and grow this channel now that I have the proper tools available to me. And as well, I've got the new Rode Mod Mic, not Rode, what is it? Rode Video microphone, sorry, there's a few Rode microphones out there. I now have that guy that's permanently attached to the camera, so I don't have to sync up the audio and post anymore. It is a little bit echoey, but that's not because of the microphone, that's actually because of the room. So I need to look at putting in some, you know, foam just to filter out the noise. So that upgrade will come with time when I have a bit more cash flow again. But yeah, and I guess finally we'll move into the channel health. It's probably the last little bit I want to discuss with you guys. So in terms of growth, the channel is growing. It is growing steadily, so you know, we're not experiencing Linus Tech Tips growth of post a new channel and have 50,000 subscribers in one day. Yep, that happened. There's a new channel. Go check it out, actually. It's pretty cool. He's pulled across one of the guys from NCIX Tech Tips that kind of went belly up, which kind of sucked for those guys. He has pulled across Riley, and they've started up a new channel. So go subscribe to that channel, because hey, if you haven't seen NCIX Tech Tips before, you know, Riley did some good content. I really liked him as a YouTuber. So yeah, go check that out if you're interested. And what else have we got? We've got 450 subs. We've finally passed that, so thanks a lot, guys. That means a lot to me, because, you know, I sit here, I put in the hard work. I don't ask you guys for money. I don't ask you for anything. I do this all out of my own pocket and whatever I can get. And whatever people give to me as well. You know, it's not 100% on my own. People do help me out when they can. But, you know, without you guys, this channel wouldn't be growing. And this, you know, this is the whole thing. This is why I'm here. I'm here for you guys to make content for you. So that's fantastic. I might do a 500 subscriber special. That should probably come out, I can imagine, within in the next couple of months. I can almost imagine I'll be at 500 subscribers by that point. So I haven't figured out what I'm going to do for that video, but I have a pretty sweet case that I want to do a build in. So I might do a 500 subscriber special with that case. So look out for that when that comes out. As for video schedule, I mean, I set a goal of trying to do one every 2 weeks. In hindsight, I'm starting to understand that that's not actually enough on YouTube to grow. So I'm going to try and start punching out at least weekly if I can. So that'll be fantastic for you guys. It means a bit more work for me, but I also don't want to compromise the quality of my videos. So I won't be rushing videos just to get them out. I will still be making, you know, the best content that I can. Make sure I use the proper lighting that I have. That's why my face, not a great face to look at, but you know, it's as good as it's going to look on you know, a nice camera with all the other stuff that comes with it. So I'll get the content quality up. I'm not going to push that down just to get more videos out. I want a quality channel, so hopefully I can ramp up production for that. And finally, suggestions for content. If you guys want to see a video, let me know. You can get in touch with me on the forums. You can leave a comment under the videos. You can leave a comment under this video if you want me to do a certain video. It can be content on the parts that I've got in. It might be difficult for me to order in parts, so if you ask me for something, it's not going to be guaranteed that I can do it, purely because I might not have access to those parts. So, you know, feel free to ask me, and if I can do it, I'll do it. So, yeah. That's all I pretty much have for you guys. So thanks for watching. Leave a like if you liked it, leave a dislike if you disliked it. Comments down below for anything you want to say to me or any questions you want to ask. As always, check out forum.techfurb.com. Make sure you use http:// in front, as HTTPS doesn't really work with PHP BB. So yeah, that's a thing. And always get subscribed as well if you want to keep seeing more content. I usually do these subscriber updates once every couple of months, and I will also post a... I'm not going to do a thread because not a lot of people are responding to it, but if you want to ask me something and I can answer it in this Q&A video for you, leave a response below this video or head over to forum.techfurb.com and leave a comment, and I'll happily answer your questions in this particular video. Well, the one that I do next month. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next video.